Hi, it's Kristen with LifeMoreAbundantBlog.com, and I'm back with another video today. I'm sharing about something that I have actually never talked about before on my channel, but I've always known it was something that I wanted to kind of branch into here because it's a big part of my life, and that is homeschooling. So I am a mother of 4 children. My oldest is 6, and I have twin 4-year-olds, and then my youngest is 7 months old now. My husband and I were homeschooled growing up, so we always knew it was something that we would likely pursue, although, other options were not out of the question and still are not out of the question. I always tell everyone we'll just take it year by year and child by child and see how it goes. But so far, so good. We are in our 2nd year of homeschooling. My daughter, who just turned 6, she is actually in kindergarten this year. And then my boys are kind of loosely doing a little bit of preschool here and there, nothing major just yet. But I wanted to share today about something that has been just really helpful in our homeschool journey, something that I learned about from some other homeschooling moms who are pretty well known in the homeschooling world, and that is something called morning time, or some people call it a morning basket. So I first heard about this from a lady named Cindy Rollins, and she had a lot of children. Most of them are grown now, but she kind of used the concept of morning time to bring all her children together, both old and young, to come and sit and for her to read aloud to and just cover different subjects and things that maybe you wouldn't get to during your normal coursework, outside of the reading, the writing, the math, things like that. This is where she would pull in those things. And Pam Barnhill is another homeschooling mother who's pretty well known, who also uses the morning basket idea to just cover a wide range of subjects as well as ages and grades. So like I said, I have a kindergartner and then what you could consider preschoolers. So this video is going to be a little bit different than others you might find on YouTube because I don't have any, 3rd graders, 5th grade, nothing like that. So it's all going to be geared more towards little kids. I found that morning time just sets a beautiful tone for the day. I find that the days when I do make time for it, the day just flows better, and I feel like it kind of fills up my kids' cups with me. Like I just kind of first thing in the morning, well, after breakfast and we get things cleaned up, is when we do morning time. But I'm able to just sit and kind of pour into them, reading them stories, and we talk about things, that go along with the stories and questions or things that they might have. And they just really seem to love it, and it just sets a really nice tone for the rest of the day. So here is what my little morning time basket looks like. So the first thing that we always do is I read a Bible story to them. So this is what I picked up for this year. It's by Rod and Staff Publishers, and it's just very simple, just little 2-page, I don't know if you can see that, Bible stories. And then at the end, it just has a few questions for them to answer. And it comes with a coloring book. So I just have one of these coloring books, so I make copies for my 4-year-olds. But what they do is they're able to color a picture while I'm reading, which if you have boys, or probably any child, but especially boys, they really do need to keep busy while you're reading sometimes. Not all the time, but it is really, really helpful to them if they have something to do while you're reading. So I find that they really are able to pay close attention to what I'm reading when they're coloring something. So that's one of their favorite things in morning time, is this first thing they get to do is just sit down and color and listen to the Bible story. From there, I like to move on to poetry. So we have a few different books that we rotate through, but currently we're using this one, a child's book of poems. And depending on how big the poem is, I don't have any method to this. I just kind of flip through and see something that might be appropriate for the season. I just opened to Santa Claus. There's some stuff about daffodils, it's April now, so we're definitely in that time where the daffodils have been blooming. And I'll just pick a few, and if there are ones that the kids seem to like, then we'll go back to them again and again. And the kids kind of memorize them on accident. They don't even realize they're doing it. But this is a really fun book with really neat illustrations, and the kids really enjoy this one for poetry. The next thing I like to move to is our read aloud. So I read aloud to the kids every day, and sometimes it's books from the library or just ones in our own personal library that we love and just repeat over and over again. But I like to have one that is like more like a chapter book that we read from a little bit from every day. So I can't expect my little 4-year-olds and even my 6-year-old to sit for too long for me reading, but I find that if we just break it up into little pieces, they're able to follow along with the story, and their mind doesn't wander off too much if I do it that way. So I like to move to our kind of chapter read aloud after that. So currently we're reading Charlotte's Web. This version is just really neat. It's a special read along edition, and it has some, I bought it used, but it has some pictures in it, which the kids really enjoy. The text is large, and it's just a lot of fun. I love the language in here. They say things that we, don't really say all the time, and really that's what I look for in a good children's book, among other things. But one of the things I really do look for is language. I want them to be hearing language that we don't use every day, just to kind of like broaden their vocabulary and what they can speak and also what they can understand. So the next thing we do is our read aloud, which I love. And then I like to move to shorter stories. So like I said, books from the library, maybe that go along with the season. I love Read Aloud Revival, and it's a podcast and a blog, and she's on Instagram. She's a great homeschooling mother to follow. I think she has 7 kids. She puts out a book list, or it's a whole year of book lists. I think if you join her mailing list, you can get that. And she has recommendations for every month of the year, like depending on the season, and all the books are just super high quality, wonderful language, high moral standards, and just beautiful illustrations. Like, they're just some of our favorites from that book list. So I'll go through that list and put them on hold at our local libraries, and so that way I can have them for the appropriate months. One of my kids' favorite books right now is The Bumblebee Queen, so I'll link it down below, but it's just a really fun book that explains all about the life of a bumblebee and how they all work together, and it's really, really interesting. So this is a favorite of my kids right now. And then we are just into April. It's April 1st today, so obviously it was St. Patrick's Day last month, so this was a really fun book that we got for St. Patrick's Day that also came from the Read Aloud Revival, her book list. So also, of course, it's, gardening time, stuff like that. So I got this book about seeds. The kids have really been enjoying this. It's a really cute book. I really like this one. And then we have this one for Easter. Easter's coming up in just a few weeks, so of course we're reading all about Easter right now. After that, I like to move into scripture memory. So I have these little scripture cards that I got a long time ago. I actually think I bought them before I had kids, so I doubt I can figure out where I got them from, but I think there are probably lots out there. I'll see if I can find something similar. I think I bought them from Etsy, but for each letter of the alphabet, it has a little verse, like this one's, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Be kind to one another and build each other up," and it just goes on and on like that. And the kids have over half of the alphabet memorized with these verses, and then they can just spout them off. And I don't, repeat. I don't repeat them over and over. It's just something we go through every single day, and they're able to just remember them on their own, which is super cool. Scripture memory is just really important. I also like to include, art. We don't really go into like composer studies and things like that at the age that my kids are, although that's something that I'm excited to do in the future. But I do like to get books and stories about famous painters and artists that will just kind of familiarize my young children with the paintings and the artists themselves. So this book, Degas and the Little Dancer, is one of my children's favorite books. They absolutely love it. It's super cute. My daughter started sculpting like immediately with her clay after we read this book, but they asked for this one over and over again. It's a really good one. And then I also like to rotate through these 2 books. This one is the Children's Book of Virtues and the Children's Book of Faith. These just have short stories in them, and they just teach the kids a lot. So this one's The Boy Who Brought Light into a World of Darkness. They're just really sweet stories that have really nice meaning and teach the kids a lot of good stuff in these books. The same thing for the Book of Virtues. Lots of really colorful pictures. The kids really love them. Like I said, just teaches them a lot. There's always just really good meaning behind each of the stories. So we love that a lot as well. I just love how flexible the morning time, the morning basket idea is. I love that you can just switch it out from time to time or all throughout the month really, and then especially at the beginning of the month, I like to switch it out and just, pick out different books from my own personal library, as well as, get the ones from the reading list that I told you about. It's just really flexible, and I really, really love that. It really is my children's favorite part of the day. When I say it's morning time, they absolutely love it. They run to the table and they pick out the tea that they want to drink, and it just kind of makes it a special time when I can give them my attention, they can give me their attention, and just gives us a really nice start to the day, even though they're young. And then after we do morning time, we'll usually move into the subjects more. So my 6-year-old will do her language arts, which we do the Good and the Beautiful curriculum, as well as her math. And I'll usually let my twins run along and play. If they want to do some school, I have some little preschool workbooks for them that they can work on. But if they are, a little antsy and ready to get moving, that's perfectly fine with me, and I let them scurry off and do whatever it is that they want to do. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that maybe it inspired you to try out morning time and try to kind of put a collection of books together and call it your morning basket, and pull your kids in and say, hey, we're going to make some cookies this morning or whatever, and we're going to have tea, and we're going to sit down and we're going to read these wonderful books together. It's just so fun, and just such a fun way to just connect with your kids, especially in the morning. Like I said, just pouring into them first thing just sets the tone for just a beautiful day. So thank you so much for watching.